Welcome to another episode of the Kinvestor Report, where we sit down with industry analysts and experts to discuss the latest developments in the junior mining, commodities, and small cap stock market. I'm your host, Arlen and Chen. As always, please be aware of our disclaimer in the description below that no part of this interview should be taken as investment advice and that Kin Communications may or may not be compensated by any of the companies discussed in today's interview. However, I will make it very clear if I am. Today, I'm joined by Chen Lin, editor and publisher of What is Chen Buying, What is Chen Selling, a stock pick newsletter focused on several sectors from mining to energy to biotech. Chen's had a lot of stroke over the years, has got a very big following, and we're going to dive into silver today. We haven't touched on that in a while, something I'm very passionate about, and I know Chen is as well. Chen, awesome to have you here today. How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you, Arlen.
Yeah, good. So just watched a recent interview of you, and you're calling for $50 silver. I'm in your camp, but you're saying this is going to come fast. So what's behind that? Like, okay, this is coming fast. What's behind that part of it?
Yeah, I saw last night, I saw they may break out, but today it's a big hammer at day down.
Yeah.
And
of course.
the silver, historically, if you look at the chart, it moved very, very fast. And so from 30, once it breaks 30, 35 range, go to 50 may take a week or two. Okay, so it's like this fast. So my talk to my guys and my subscriber, also one of my family, as I'm heavily betting on silver, is that this come every maybe a decade or two. Yeah, so
for sure.
So you waited for 10 years. For example, last time was 2012. Now it's 2024. If it wait for 12 years, it happened. You want to take the ride. You want to take you don't want to miss the train. That's my point. Okay, and I said it could come in June. I didn't, but it could come. I mean, yesterday, if it breaks out, I mean, look at it from 35 to 50. There's almost no resistance, so it just will blast by. So I just hate for investors, and then you have to chase. It's going up a few dollars a day, and then you're chasing those, and then you look around, look back, you say, oh, I bought a stock, and then it maybe bought at wrong price. So it's better to buy it on the low and sell high.
Of course, right? That's what we want to do. But it has been challenging because these stocks aren't moving right now with these moves in gold and silver. So has been a challenge for a lot of the small cap junior investors out there. There's been some specific names that have done well, like some of the mid-tier producers have, given some returns, but it's been kind of few and far between, right?
Absolutely.
When you're looking at silver, in like you're saying, okay, I'm all in on silver right now. Are you looking at the same thesis as gold? Is it the same as investment as gold, or is there something more to silver right now that's got you jacked?
It's different thesis. Okay. The first silver to gold ratio is at a historical high. Gold silver ratio. Silver is a very, very low valuation historically, had very, very low value. So we can, because people were chatting about used to be 10 to 1. Come on, So, and also silver happened to run a very heavy deficit, one of the strongest deficit in past 100 years. Okay, you have to go back to 1950 to see this kind of deficit. And what happened in 1960 after the deficit in 1950, we used to have a silver coin. Remember that? Oh, the $0.25 coin used to be 90% silver. It's gone because there's not enough silver out there. So that was when the photographer took off, and then you take the silver from the film, right? You're filming the silver. That's what happened. But at that time, we were very lucky because the silver production keep going up. Actually, you look at the history. In 1950, silver production increased, I think, fourfold. And don't quote me on that, 3 or 4-fold. Okay. I saw the chart. It's going up like crazy because silver really took up. Yeah. So right now, we couldn't. Right now, silver is mostly byproduct. So we have the similar deficit of the 1950s. And I see foreseeable future, we will have a strong deficit year after year after year. Well, so I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, well, I think you said it was interesting about like silver is mostly a byproduct production. So like I wonder like how much transparency we get on how much silver is coming online. But I think we're also silver, that production is stuck by all these other commodities pushing their production timelines, years and years and years, right? A huge, they're obviously huge byproducts of copper porphyry production. Well, it takes 15, 20 years to put a copper mine in production now. right?
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
no, we got some really interesting things going to be happening in the next 10 years, I believe. But who cares about my opinion? I'm just a little talk show host, right?
Likewise.
Right. Um, what do you think the most like misunderstood idea about investing in silver is right now?
I think most people confuse. Is silver a precious metal or industrial metal? It's a mandatory metal or it's not? I mean, what I want, this is what I tell my guys is that they used to be precious metal, used to be mandatory metal, but it's because silver price dropped so hard, it's uh, it's no longer, a lot of people no longer treat it as a precious metal. So for silver to have a chance to become a precious metal again, silver need to be precious again. Okay, so silver price need to go much higher. So each silver coin really worth it is. Used to be one silver coin, you can feed the family for a day. Right? I mean, you can't do that anymore. So silver is too cheap. So to make silver precious, we is to rise the silver price to go up. That's where it will be the first step for silver to become a precious.
And sort of challenging on that a little bit. So is that why do you think there's such a discrepancy between the gold silver ratio right now? Is like silver is just no longer precious anymore.
Yeah, we are talking about this is people just confuse whether it's industrial metal or it's precious metal. That's a general thing. And I think silver, if silver goes high enough, $50 to $100 silver, and silver will have a chance to become precious again. Because it used to be our United States, we used to hold silver. It used to be in China, used to hold silver. Silver actually used to be currency in China. So it's not anymore. But in order for that happen, silver price need to be much higher than we.
Do we see much central bank buying of silver?
No, I don't see anything right now about think
Interesting.
about
That's
buying
interesting to
gold.
me.
Yeah,
I've never really thought of that. Now it just popped in my head. Like I don't see headlines. I don't. So like I wondered, yeah, you got to think there's some, of course, like a strategic
right.
holding or da 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 da. But it's just interesting we don't see it like reported the way that we do with gold.
Exactly. So the silver price go higher, and people may think it's precious, and then there may be
Hmm.
more and more people are leaning on that. So it's
Hmm.
always going with the first
Yeah.
step. My,
But to be a devil's advocate, though, I do wonder if, maybe that gold silver ratio is there to stay just because it isn't precious. And maybe it'll never be precious again. We don't know,
that's
right?
a good point. We
Like
we don't know.
we don't know, right? Like
We don't know. Right.
we can look at history and we all recognize that history repeats itself to some degree, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think it's just something to be aware of and to think about when we look at these things, right?
yeah. Absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
so
So
when you're buying silver, are you buying physical? Are you buying ETFs? Are you buying producers? What kind of how are you getting leverage to silver?
oh, I have physical silver at home. My wife always say I wear too much silver, too heavy actually. The silver too cheap. The box of the silver ingot, and it's too heavy to move. I mean, when we want to move, it will be very hard for us. Hardship.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Seriously,
It's heavy,
silver
eh?
is
It's so
the silver
heavy.
is really cheap. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and I also own ETF, but I like the most is through the silver miners. I think those are very, very undervalued. They go through very, very hard time. A lot of silver company went bankrupt. You know that in the past, especially small company. I can give you a long list of names, but you probably will bore you. So because at this $20 silver, most silver companies are not making money, except for a few, maybe Silvercrest, Max, a few low cost producer. Even you look at the grade, First Majestic is not making money at $20 silver, but at 30, 40, 50, it will make a lot of money. So that's what I see the leverage. The company from losing money and then may need to go back to the market to raise money from time, especially those junior the shares are trading not at the intrinsic value. They're trading at their mark raise. What was your last raise, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
that's a big disconnect, and I see a lot of opportunities with the mining company.
Hmm. Can you name some of these producers that you think people should be like if they're going to look at a basket of silver producers, can you name a bunch of names just to put on the screen?
Oh, well, I think you can, if you don't not familiar with silver mining company, you start right now. It's probably better with the ETF. There's a silver junior mining index. There's a silver mining, but a lot of those are foreign silver company, Korean zinc, whatever. But if there's a silver, I think silver the junior silver mining index ETF. That's probably a little bit better. You start that, and then
Are all ETFs the same?
no, very very different.
Well, why don't you educate our listeners here on what are the different ETFs and what do you got to look out for?
I always like the silver junior ETF, junior mining versus silver ETF. Remember there was a big incident that the Russia invaded Ukraine, right? There is
hard to forget that one.
Yeah, that's hard. On that day, all these Russian-related stock was frozen and then they collapsed. One is called a Polymetal, and it used to be there was a top 5 silver producer in the world, and it's in the silver mining ETF. And you just saw the ETF just drop 5% on that day, but silver junior didn't move because silver mining ETF there's a lot of foreign stock there. I'm not,
is
that
because
fan of that.
Well, we know that there's just not a lot of primary silver production in North American companies. So maybe if they want a primary silver ETF or primary holding, they actually have to go geographically agnostic. I don't know the answer to that. I'm just curious.
Right. I know. So that's one of the reasons I always like the junior more tend to be more US list. I look at it, I don't see much foreign. I look through their holding tend to be the US, Canadian, North American.
Can you name 5 primary silver producers that like in the States, like Hecla?
Yeah, Hecla used to be my number one holding.
Yeah. I guess Avino's out there.
Avino is a very good one. Actually,
yeah, huge win for people.
Yeah, I was like pounding on the table when the core was selling their stock at 40 cents, 40 US. So talking about US cents, we got the free trading in US, so I took advantage of that.
Nice.
So now it's over $1. It's still cheap. Cheap. If you look at if they can really continue to execute this, it can go to a few dollars, just over $1 US. So, and then they applying for permit, right? That's a big expansion. So that's it's coming, and I have to talk to the management. I think they have a conference call. I think I was too busy on the other calls. I probably need a little
too busy talking to me. Too busy talking to me, brother. priorities.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the Hecla, we got the Avino. Any other kind of US silver producers out there?
Oh, but it's already went up a lot. Silver Crest was
Silver Crest.
My favorite.
That was a huge win. Huge win. Yeah,
huge one. I would start taking profit because it's become one of those premium silver company, and then when the premium valuation is much higher, if you compare, the Silver Crest to to Avino. Actually, I had both CEO on my panel quite a few weeks ago, and I almost asked a question, because Silver Crest trading at $10 per ounce, right? Avino is $1. I say, why don't you buy each other? But I feel like it's maybe embarrassment to the management. So there's still a big valuation gap, right? So then that for me that's the opportunity for you as well.
What I think that's interesting about that is like when these companies start getting a premium because management has executed over a period of time, right? Like the investors continue to believe and believe and believe. Humans fail. All humans fail at some point, whether it's in their personal life or their business life. And then you lose that premium.
Exactly. You lose the premium
very quickly.
fast.
And then you get put in jail. right?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
physical jail, but like the investors that we
Yeah.
said, yeah, we're throwing you in
Yeah.
jail,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're actually going to give you a discount because of your human
Yeah.
failures,
Yeah.
right?
Penalty box. That's a Canadian call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So no,
I
but
know. I know
that's
exactly. You have to write through. I've been through all these, many of those companies, and
mhm,
I have a lot of personal experience. I like to buy from a penalty box, and then I sell when they're on the podium.
yeah.
Very, very good company is used to put, it's called Oceana Gold.
Oh
Oceana
yeah,
Gold used
yeah.
to be to the toilet, and then in 2009, they're trading at 10 to 15 cents when I pick it up, and then become a premium one. It go
Mhm.
up to $4. I always keep selling. I have a small position. Then the Philippines closed down their mine. It become penalty box. Not
Uh,
now.
I
Now
was
they're
I
taking
was a
up.
part of all that. It was crazy. It was wild. I raised 40 million bucks for another Philippine deal that had this huge copper asset. I'm not going to say names, but yeah. And then boom, the government came in and banned open. It was just a disaster,
Disaster.
right?
And then
So,
they were, yeah, then CEO was forced to resign. Actually, I know the CEO pretty well. I feel sorry for him. It's not
mhm,
his fault, but he had to take the blame. So the stock suddenly just dropped, cut in
yeah,
half for nothing up there. Now it's coming back again, become a premium. Actually, even today, it was still going up. Wow, it's good.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
happy. I loaded up at $2.
yeah. Awesome.
When at the bottom, it's very, very hard. Even I have a lot of connection to Oceana. I know them for many, many years. I talk to people very familiar. They used to work for them at $2. I said, this is a table pounder. They were, really?
hmm
Yeah. But
Well, they
actually,
even
it
start
was.
doubting, right? They even start
Yeah.
doubting, right?
Yeah.
Like it's that psychology of just like watching, your investments get cut in half. Like the psychology of being able to just keep buying it. It's very, very, very difficult to do. Right. And
Exactly.
that's
So,
why
yeah,
that's why the majority of people don't make money in this market. Like they just can't,
exactly.
So,
I, I have um, I have people subscriber literally writing to me and calling me say, don't buy a Vino at 40 cents because the management are crooks. They really told me to say that. I mean, this email, long email. Yeah, they made mistake before, but I've been to the project. I know their father and son generation,
mhm,
mining. So now it's doing very well. It's still very cheap
yeah,
at this current valuation. So
cool. So we'll touch base on some, okay. So like into the exploration model now into the States, there's very few like still primary silver exploration companies, right? There's Suma Silver, there's
mhm.
BlackRock,
Yeah.
and then the list gets very, very short,
Hmm.
right? It's
Yeah.
so how about some names on the exploration development side like Vizsla, obviously they're
Vizsla,
killing it,
yeah,
but
Vizsla is good.
you gotta question Mexico right now.
Yeah, I know.
Mexico is tough,
Yeah, Madrid.
right?
Yeah,
I looked at the numbers last year. They lost $6 billion in foreign investment
yeah.
in mining.
I
It's
know. I know.
crazy,
I
crazy,
know.
right? So any other kind of exploration names out there that you think are making some discoveries or
Yeah, well, I really like Vizsla. Actually, I was with them at the very beginning, and they did very well.
Mhm.
And I heard their stock actually going up even with all the Mexican crap, because they probably going to either sell the company or do something because they already spin off the royalty, Vizsla royalty, or they spin off. You remember there was a similar thing. For Canada, another company. The spin-out royalty usually means ready to be sold.
Yeah, yeah,
Either
yeah.
they be sold or there's some kind of JV to a big deal because the royalty is usually the founder want to keep, right? So they like still keep some upside.
Yeah.
So
I think I
that,
saw an email come across my screen that it's a takeover target from an analyst. So yeah, it's interesting you say that because
yeah.
clearly the streets are talking potentially, right?
And then start going up,
Yeah,
freaking
yeah,
out. And
yeah.
recently, it's not, we are living a very small world. I mean, what I found was those kind of thing always, someone always know. So you can, from the stock up action, you probably can know
Hmm.
something. So that's a very good one. I mean, I'm more for another company, and not just silver, they also have other metal, Corsair, the Pascal, CDTR. It's a very small company and they in Peru. They used to be it's a silver lead zinc, and it used to be gold and copper. So you have a full spectrum of metals, and they used to be the largest in the world, gold and copper. Okay, and then they mine down, becomes silver and lead and zinc. So we're looking at the tailing. It's a very, very rich tailing. And it's just next to the mill, which should be closed down any day, but they don't want to incur the closure cost. Glencore used to own that. Okay, they don't want to have a closing cost, so they keep it running on the stockpile just to barely make some money, so they don't have to close it. So that's a mill ready. And Glencore used to be one before COVID. They want to sell to Sarda Pass for $1, but COVID came, so it was all canceled.
Yeah. Well, that blew up. That didn't go in our favor.
Right. The company said we cannot take that. I mean, because we don't have money to pay. So Glencore, you have to keep that. But it's probably when the deal will come out, the president just signed the signature, the fifth signature in the world for the easement. Aerospace just became the largest shareholder. Just happened last week.
Okay.
Yeah. So
did you say the symbol was CDPR?
CDPR.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay.
So it's a large. This is the largest above ground silver deposit in the world. Okay, that's what they're saying. It's huge. They used to be Sarda Pasco and Philip Dodge. If you know Philip Dodge, right? They used to be the two New York Stock Exchange listed the mining company in the world. Two big. This company is founded by J.P. Morgan in 1911. So you think about it. We're talking about their tailing. Okay. Huge, massive tailing. The problem is that the tailing, actually there's a leakage. So the lead.
Oh shit.
The lead actually leak into the ground to poison the kids. All the kids' blood has lead in. So the people are pissed off at that.
Yeah, obviously.
99% of the people are afford to reprocess the tailing to put it in a safe, modern way. So, and then we will make a lot of money out of it. They start drilling later this month. I'm quite excited, waiting for quite a few years. And my early investment has been losing a lot of money, from 40 cents to 10 cents, now rebounded to 15 cents after Aerospace announced it's going to. So I'm still down, but for everybody else, it's a good opportunity. We got to wait due to what happened to COVID, to all the other, those things just slow down. The company has to raise money. So that's what I said. They're always trading at the financing price, not the real price. Okay, their PEA will come out next year. It will be sky high.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Any M&A names out there? We talked about the possibility of Vizsla being out there, but who else has got some assets that you think are cheap and juicy for the big boys to want to run at them?
So I've been talking to, I don't know exactly, okay, but I know what the core have this high CRD deposit. They bought from another company, right? They did more exploration. That tend to be one of the best CRD in the world, I heard. So what's the name of that? It's in between Yukon and BC, around that area, border area. Yeah, so that CRD tend to be, it's very, very
the Snowline gold?
Snowline. No, it's a core, Coeur d'Alene. And they
yes.
They bought that.
Rob Quartermain, yes, Coeur d'Alene, yes. Okay.
Right. That deposit they used to be in production, and then they shut it down to do an exploration. They find so much more. So that one can be a world-class asset. For Core want to have a partner to develop, but they could be whole taken out, or buy that piece, or do there's many things can happen. So that's why Core also one of my key holding for the silver producer, doing very well for me so far.
Last question here, and it's not about silver, it's more about like the Canadian venture market. Do you think that we're like fundamentally broken and like system, or do you think we're just, people forget how bad things can be in a bear market? And now because it's because of this, it's because of this, it's because of this, it's because of this, or too many regulations here, or too much compliance, or whatever it is, or too much handcuffing, or you're blocking too much investment, or is it just we're in a bear market, or we've been in a bear market for these stocks and the money flow just isn't showing up yet?
Right. That there's the multiple fold. Okay. There's a very bad bear market for small cap in the past 3 years. Very, very bad. We probably looking at the bottom. For the market, it should have a bounce. There also in this downturn, I've seen there's a bad apple out there. There's a management team just terrible, very, very bad. They the shareholder losing their share, they're enrich themselves doing a lot of very, very bad deals. Not for the benefit of shareholder. It happened. So that also hurt the shareholder. I don't know what to address that, except I lost money in certain investments, so I have to just remember all these bad apples. I don't want to get close to them.
The bad actors are always there.
Yeah,
they're always there. I believe in the good in people. But the greed comes out and the bad actors come out, right? It just happens.
So those kind of things also happen, and in the bottom of the market, all the investor, they have the hope with management doing the right thing. No, they're not. There's no hope to coming back. No hope. They're screwed. And then they're done. They're done. So, but there are good company, they're hardworking management out there. I think they will come back. I believe they will come back in a very positive way. One thing I hope is Sarah Pascal. I hope the management will set the example to all the juniors that we keep our heads down. Despite we raise money at the bottom, but when the PEA come, which will come early next year, and then people will have a big re-rating. Now is Sprout behind them. So I think that's I hope we have some good example. You need to have a good example, a success story that people talk about for a long time to attract new investors into this space.
It does feel like it's been quite a while since the market had a broad win. Like there's been some wins, but they were very pocketed, I felt.
Very pocketed.
Not like broadly won by
right.
Like the resource investors, and to create that liquidity back, right? So
right.
We'll see when it comes. It comes
like a few, just only a few, and then those tend to be almost go straight up. It's just like from out of going out of the gate and running, and there are very little company. When company go down, they very, very seldom come back. That's a problem. But the valuation is there. They should come back. I hope we have some good example that good company can come back and then show investor this can be done.
Yeah, it can be. Chen, thank you so much. That was really fun.
Thank you.
Next time you're in Vancouver, let's certainly get together. Love to take you for dinner or whatever and talk stocks. It'd be like that's a lot of fun. I could talk like this for hours, so I'm not going to bore my readers, my listeners forever about me and you. But that was awesome, and we'll stay in touch.
Okay, great. Likewise. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Cheers.
Take care. Bye-bye.
If you'd like to learn more about Chen is buying and selling, visit chenpicks.com or follow him on social media. If you haven't already, join our Kinvestor network by subscribing to our channel, following us on social media, saying hi, touching base, whatever. We're an open book here. And until next time, talk again. Cheers.